Yes, guys, welcome back to Kings of the Bridge. How are you all doing? Hope you're all good. Big up, everyone in the chat. You know what you should be doing right now? Hit the likes. Get the likes up. Share it out. We should be sharing as well. Likes, shares, all of that, man. We need it all sorted, guys. Let's get it going. Ben Jacobs will be joining us very shortly here very shortly as well. We've got lots to get into in a short space of time. But Matt's here as well. Big up, Matt. How are we, mate?
I'm good, mate. I hope everyone in the chat's good. I hope you had a good Friday. Obviously, we had a lot going on this week. We've had a lot going on today. More importantly, we've got something more important to happen tomorrow, which is obviously the game. But before all that, we've got Ben Jacobs coming on, which I'm very, very much looking forward to.
Yeah, big up, guys. Big up, Matt. I see you in there. Big up, Toby. Big up, Chels. Big up, Couch Critic. Big up, DJ Savjay. Who else we got here? Dreamcast as well. I see you all here. Not Made. How are you, Vamos? Good to see you. What we saying, man? Are we all good? He should be with us in the next 5-10 minutes, actually. He said he's just breaking. There's some breaking news coming out, so he'll be joining us very shortly. Mike and Toby, how are you both? Is what Savjay says. Yeah, we've got a big game tomorrow as well. I say big game. We've got a game against Charlton tomorrow that we need to win, Matt. Obviously, we're going to do a preview after the discussions with Ben Jacobs, but yeah, Rosenior in his interview, very, very professional. I don't know if anyone saw it. Speaks very well. Speaks very well in front of the media, I'll be honest. Talks a good game. Now it's all about the action, right? When it comes to it.
Yeah, it's difficult because when someone speaks well, you almost really want to back them as well. I mean, in my opinion, I really want to back Liam, but I just think what's so difficult is we've been so scarred from before with people who speak well. It's just really hard to kind of feel like those words have a bit of weight to them. But let's see. I hope I'm proved wrong. I hope that he does back up his words and we start getting a bit of just some calmness. I think that's what we need. We need some consistency, some performances, some players to get back to where they need to be and just get a few wins on the boards and just have that feeling of winning again. I think for too long now, we've just not felt like that. And I think it's really tough for us as fans to kind of be feeling the way we are. So we need some luck. We need some wins in a row. We need to start getting some points back, and if we can get some transfers in to bolster it, which I doubt we will, more the happier for it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. It's going to be interesting. Lewis says he's talking like Tuchel. Let's see if he has the minerals. Interesting. Yeah. Saw his press conference. Team news was not asked of him, which is very weird. I don't know how anyone didn't ask about fitnesses and everything else. Usually it's one of the first things they ask, right? But it was more about
figure it out. That's why he's trying to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get one big name this winter. We will get one big name this winter, is what Nono says. You think we're going to pick someone up in this winter period, bro? Interesting. Interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't think so, personally. I think the summer is where we will be looking to potentially buy players. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ben Jacobs knows more in that sense. But yeah, I don't think there will be anything of that.
Did you see there was that? I mean, I don't know who the journalists were, but it was very loosely about this like 70 million from the Brentford striker or something. Did you see any of that today? Was it just me?
No, I didn't see any of that.
Not from a very reputable journalist, but it's just that sort of business. You're just like, no, like 70 million as well. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Couch saying sell to buy. Don't forget that. Well, I think we all know who would sell immediately, and that's Neto.
Jim, Keir Starmer speaks well, and we all know he's shy. Time to walk the walk for Liam. I don't rate Keir Starmer, mate. I don't rate Keir Starmer anyway, so that's a bit different. Middlesbrough confirmed Leo Castledine has joined. That was the other day, wasn't it? Or was that recent?
I think it's official now, so he's gone now.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting, not interesting. For me, it's like, yeah, but really? Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Only Paez might be coming in from reports going out on X. Paez? What, from
Hendry, yeah. Because he can't even so apparently he's just not being able to solidify himself being in the environment and stuff, so they might have to bring him back. Which is a bit of a shame, really, because I think there was a big kind of build up for him, and I don't know what's happened, whether it's I don't know, being so much in the limelight so quickly and then just kind of, I don't know if it's an attitude thing. I don't know, but it seems a bit of a shame because I think that at the beginning, he was a part of the Clear Lake model. He was like the bright star to come in, and I just think we've just bolstered that so much for so many different players that he's just gone further and further down. And I just maybe it just wasn't all it seemed to be with him. I'm not sure, but yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously, from what I saw of him, it was kind of Esteval-esque when you saw like the goals he was scoring and stuff. But it's just maybe just not worked at Strasbourg. I'm not sure. So maybe bringing him back, and I don't know where else he can go on loan though. Or I don't know whether we can even just keep him in the club just to try and figure out what's going on. Someone like him, need him to play.
Yep. Yeah.
What did you guys think, and in the chat as well, did you guys see the training video at all? I mean, I know it was very much all about him, but I found it quite funny when you saw him talking to Esteval, and you're like, I swear Esteval can't speak a word of English. Rosenior's in his ear, telling him different tactics. I mean, unless Esteval's learned English in the space of a couple months, which is fair enough. But I mean, I quite liked what I saw, but it's just always so difficult to take those tinted glasses off because you've got this new shiny toy, and it's like, is it going to be different? But yeah, we'll soon find out. I'll look lost. There's a lot of emphasis on Joao as well, Joao Pedro, and then there's a lot of people saying, is he going to be, quite impacted by Liam Rosenior being a bit more positive performances coming out of him?
Yeah, want to see Liam recreate the Chile with Joao Pedro. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
What did he do?
Yeah.
What did he do?
It's just cuddling them, all this, making them important. Yeah.
What I find mental, right, is I mean, look, your players have to switch off when they're in training, be a bit more happy. But I'm I expect it to be a bit more serious. Do you know what I mean? Smiling and stuff. To me, I don't like seeing that. It needs to be dead serious. You're on a really bad rut at the moment, and that's my opinion. Mike, thanks for the compliment. Matt, your beard is on point, cutting shapes. Yeah, unfortunately, I cut a bit more than a shape about a week ago, and it's got a bit patch now. But I appreciate it, and it's just not seeming to grow back. So,
talking about Ben Jacobs and Chelsea and everything else. He is here. Ben Jacobs has joined us on Kings of the Bridge. Ben, how are you?
Hey guys, how's it going? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, mate. How's everything?
Everything is busy. Chelsea not doing us any favours by changing their manager New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Yeah, always enjoyable when the window's open.
Imagine supporting Chelsea, Ben. Imagine being a actual Chelsea fan and going through what we're going through right now. It's a painful period, shall I say, as we're trying to give these board and ownerships the opportunity to show us the vision and stuff, but we find it also very hard with the with trying to see that vision when we're constantly switching managers. And obviously that's something we want to start talking to you about in a second, Liam Rosenior. But listen, Ben was with me on here when we first had this YouTube as GNA TV. I remember a long time ago he joined us on here, and we were talking about Poch. We were talking about Potter at the time of their appointments and over here. And it's like Ben said, we're now at a point where we're now on to Chelsea's fifth manager, I think it is right now, in Liam Rosenior. And it just feels like I don't know what the word is. It feels like it's a rewind because it's so consistent that we're now sitting there talking about another manager at Chelsea and what to expect and everything else. And that's where I want to start with, Ben, is just what are your thoughts on the appointment of Rosenior from a sort of Chelsea ball standpoint, your own opinion as well? And do you really think that this guy, again, who is inexperienced, may be the manager that takes Chelsea forward?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think he's saying all the right things with confidence. And I know Chelsea fans will look at all the context and therefore the project not being brand new. But if this was a guy that came in when Maresca got the job or on day one after Thomas Tuchel, I think there'd be a lot of excitement. Where Chelsea fans are maybe more cynical is the fact he's come from the group. He's a Blueco guy. But if you listen to Liam Rosenior, he's saying very clearly, I'm not interested in long term. I'm not interested in a project. He's basically saying, I've worked with these guys before and I'm here to win now. And those comments are going to be, I think, quite warmly received by the Chelsea fan base. But he's tied to a project that the same Chelsea fan base don't all believe in. So had he come in and gone, I need 3 to 5 years, it's going to be a slow burner, some patience is required, which is what, by the way, Maresca originally said before doubling down on Champions League being needed. That's one thing. But I was really impressed by his opening press conference because he's saying this isn't about potentially a world-class team. This is about a world-class team now. This isn't about potentially a good manager. This is about a manager needing to do the business now. So those words naturally might come back to bite him if after 3, 6, 9 games and so on, he's not getting results. But I've got to be honest, I think Rosenior's putting pressure on himself to deliver something now this season, which goes against a lot of the previous messaging of a more formative project. And that's maybe the point of difference between him and other managers. He accepts that he's in to do something now, not tomorrow, not next season, right now. And if he can deliver, it will be an excellent appointment because you can see how he carries himself, that he's likable, that he's lucid, and those words need to be turned into points. And if they are, I genuinely think he's the kind of manager and personality the Chelsea fan base can get behind. It's just the fact that Chelsea fans have been burned before. They heard it with Maresca. He fell out with the hierarchy, or the medical department anyway. They heard it with Pochettino, a more experienced manager. They heard it with Graham Potter, a Brighton manager that was able to deliver because he was part of that kind of project and collaborative recruitment model. And obviously after all those managers have come in, there's excitement followed by despair with everyone. Probably, if you're a Chelsea fan, I would obviously never do this as a journalist because I'm more balanced, but hankering back to Thomas Tuchel and thinking, have we had a better manager and have we had a better position than Tuchel, winning a Champions League and succeeding in adversity where at one point anyway, Chelsea's very existence was up for debate. So what this project needs is to deliver something consistent that builds on last season. So trophies follow trophies. And if they do that, I think the fans will get behind Liam Rosenior. So there's pressure on him. But I've got to be honest, I've not been in a better opening Chelsea manager press conference in many years. I think you go back to Mourinho. And although there's not quite the same first spell Mourinho swagger about Liam Rosenior, I think that's just because he understands where this current Chelsea season and project is. But if you listen to the words, there is a Mourinho-esque flavour about it. Like, I'm not arrogant, I'm just very good at my job. Those kind of phrases, if they were coming out Mourinho's mouth first or second spell, Chelsea fans would be celebrating it. And there's definitely an element of that kind of backing himself to Liam Rosenior. And if that reflects on the players, then I think Chelsea fans could have something really exciting to look forward to, despite the fact that there's plenty of cynics at the moment about the project.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think the one thing I noticed just talking as a Chelsea fan, and I'm sure Matt, I think me and Matt have had these discussions before, is that he's one that seems to, he talks very well. Even when I watched him today in his first interview, he answers the questions well. He seems very expressive. He backs himself. That's the big thing I've noticed of him. He backs himself, even though some people may say, well, what has he won? Inexperience, this, that, and the other. But, he is, like you said, he is very, very confident. It's just now, as a Chelsea fan, I think it's about seeing results. It's, seeing the trophies coming through the door. It's seeing the standards that we hold as Chelsea fans being, keeping to the highest standards, which is why, like we saw, for example, in the Fulham game away, where a lot of the away fans are booing Eghbali and they're booing the board because they're not happy with what's going on at the moment at the club and everything else. And I think for us, we would all be on side with this whole manager side of things if they were shown a little bit more trust in the managers. Because if you look at someone like Maresca, who won 2 trophies last season, goes into his second season, and all of a sudden it's see you later. We go through one game. I think we won 1 game in 7, which, don't get me wrong, is a horrible run for a club like Chelsea. But then all of a sudden it's like, see you later, and we move on to the next one. And it's very hard to work out whether they're trying to do it because they're still trying to find, obviously they are still trying to find the right manager, but find the right blend of manager that's going to be the next big thing, because they do tend to steer away from the experience element of managers and trying to bring someone in that maybe wants to have more of a say, like a Mourinho-esque or a Conte style person that's got that sort of CV. But this is where I wanted to go with, obviously away from that, was just quickly on Maresca, because as a Chelsea fan, we've kind of been told that it's to do more with like the disagreements with the medical team, the disagreements with the hierarchy, he walks or he's sacked. Again, I still can't work out what one it was really. I mean, what have you heard about what actually went on with Enzo Maresca as well behind closed doors?
Yeah, as you say, there's two sides to this. Chelsea are adamant that they have a medical department, and specifically, and this is a key point, when you have a player returning or injured, that medical department on those calls have autonomy, because they can say, we think it's unsafe the player plays back-to-back games or more than 60 minutes, or you've got to manage the load. And Chelsea argue that Enzo Maresca had issue with what the medical department were advising, and they told him repeatedly, these are the caps, or these are the amount of games players can play. Maresca had other ideas. The Maresca version is slightly different. It extends to a strategic mismatch or point of difference in other areas, particularly interference with squad selection, which may have some overlap with the medical department and therefore tally with Chelsea's accounts. But those close to Maresca also point to the fact this youth-led model is about rotating. So rotation is not out of necessity or injury. It's something that is encouraged to raise the value of the squad. And as Maresca became under more pressure, he wanted to rotate less and less. And I think it was telling that his comments after that Everton game came after a win in a match where he only made 3 of his 5 substitutions. So that's one area where Chelsea sources and those close to Maresca disagree, because Maresca is arguing that there was more interference than only the medical department, and in addition to that he wasn't protected. But on the protection point, it's really just perception, because those close to Maresca felt like Jim Ratcliffe backed Ruben Amorim and said he'd get 3 years, and 3 months later, Ruben Amorim was sacked. Chelsea never came out and said Maresca would get years, at least not publicly. And yet during the last festive period, not the one where he ended up leaving, but the previous one, he was under equal pressure, and Chelsea didn't review him and they didn't get rid of him. So there was support. It just wasn't public. And I think the irony is the Maresca side probably would have liked more public backing, and Chelsea probably would have liked Maresca to speak privately and less publicly about some of the issues. And in the end, I think they just weren't the right fit, even though they started that way. And it can happen because Maresca's stature grew as a manager. So naturally, the more you win and succeed, even if it's down to both manager and model potentially, the more you're going to outline what you want. Some, of course, at Chelsea think that Maresca has got another job lined up, and that was a part of it. I'm told it's still not a guarantee that he gets the Man City job, but he will be a candidate if Pep Guardiola leaves. So it's up to people to connect their own dots and understand whether that was or wasn't a part of it. Obviously, Chelsea would argue as soon as he declared the interest in both Man City and Juventus, and then it became public, it coincided with a dip in Chelsea form. So there's a lot of different components here. And as a journalist, it's not we're trying to sit on the fence. We just got to be fair to all sides. So Chelsea are adamant he left by mutual consent, and they wanted it to happen because they realised they weren't on the same page. Those close to Maresca basically say he resigned and didn't take any severance pay, which means that it will be a cost-effective departure to Chelsea. And we'll have to wait and see whether the Maresca side come out more publicly after the dust settles and give their side of the story. So there's a few points of differences here. But I think the long and short of it is, from Chelsea's point of view, they don't care anymore. They just want to move on. There's no point lingering over the past. They feel that they've got a manager that has worked with this hierarchy before, and that's a positive and a negative. The positive for Chelsea is that he was at Hull with Lawrence Stewart. He knows Sam Jewell and Paul Winstanley. He's worked under Bluco. All of that's a seamless transition, so that's the upside. The downside is a manager that's so tied to a model Chelsea fans are now protesting against, means that even if Maresca is the right choice, and I firmly believe that he is one of the brightest coaches in world football, it might perversely be harder for him to get off on the right foot with the Chelsea fan base, because Chelsea fans through and through are going to support any new manager. But if it doesn't go well in the first 6 months, then naturally they're going to take a lot out on both manager and model, because it feels like it's just an extension of the wider model and strategy when you pick someone from within your own group. So like I said before, if Liam Rosenior was plucked out of nowhere, no one knew that much about him, he had a big reputation, he'd never worked with Blueco, fans might be like, brilliant, if it was either at an earlier part of the model or a later part of the project where more trophies had come. But it's a strange sort of limbo period where we're heading into 4 years of this model, so you can't call it brand new. And because he's a Blueco hire, some fans will start with more cynicism than they would have done if it was a manager from outside of Blueco. And yet, because he's within Blueco, does that set a precedent that would suggest he's going to fall out with less people and it is going to be smoother because he knows what he's in for? And the last thing I'd say about Liam Rosenior, because it's really easy for a fan to just be like, oh, they've had to make a hire, he's from the same parent company, he's basically just a yes man. One thing I would say is that anyone coming to that conclusion might think he's taken the job because the hierarchy feel they can control him. And obviously I respect any opinion of fans.
Yeah.
But I would just counter saying, you obviously haven't heard or seen Liam Rosenior because he's quite aggressive. He's quite forthright. And in the broadcast section of the press conference, he said on day one, very clearly and quite, again, aggressively, I'm going to be head coach and manager. I'm going to be making the final decisions. So that doesn't smack of the tone of somebody that's coming in as a yes man. And I think this whole model is contingent on that debate and that collaboration and even that disagreement. So with Maresca, Chelsea would just argue that disagreement and that fierce debate to get to decisions should be done passionately, but privately, not via the media. And I think what they like about Liam Rosenior is that he will challenge the model. He's not just going to be there and accept everything. If he doesn't like a player, he'll say, I don't want that player. If he doesn't like a strategy, he'll call out that strategy. But I think Chelsea expect him to do it respectfully, professionally and privately, not necessarily through the media. Now, in fairness to Maresca and Pochettino, I think they did the same thing. But after several different little things, there was like a straw that broke the camel's back. And then at that point, they said something publicly in the same way that Christian Romero did an Instagram post. So it wasn't necessarily one thing, but eventually, seemingly, previous Chelsea managers that have been on board with just doing it collaboratively have snapped. So we'll have to wait and see whether Rosenior is the same, whether we never get to this point because they can add trophies, or whether he handles the balance between being a public head coach and being privately a cog within a bigger picture model. Maybe he'll just handle that dynamic differently because he's already been at Strasbourg, so he knows who he's dealing with.
Yeah, and I think as Chelsea fans, I think what we're struggling to recollect and understand is certain players that are being signed. You know, it's like some people may think it's Enzo Maresca signing. You look at the left wingers that we signed last summer. We signed Gittins and Garnacho, 2 players that cost us nearly £90 million. And they're struggling to currently get into this team. You're seeing Pedro Neto being played on the left, you know, Esteval being played on the left. And it's like, this was happening quite a bit. And now, you know, it's like, yes, we've got Liam Rosenior here as well. And it'll be interesting to see if he looks to rotate or he sticks to like a core part of his team. But the reason I say this is because sometimes it makes it, Ben, feel like from the outside looking in as fans that, you know, if a manager's not really showing too much keen on specific players, as if to say they were just given the player and being told you need to fit him in and he needs to work in your system. And that's what I feel it looks like from the outside looking in from a fan's perspective, you know?
But I think within recruitment, it's just worth noting briefly that within recruitment at Liverpool, now Manchester United, definitely Arsenal, and obviously Chelsea, there's always this element of you sign for your project and your foundation because the manager might not last. So the difference is that the way Arsenal have done it over a long period of time, and now Berta's obviously come in to try and get some silverware, and the way that Liverpool have done it, it's foundationally strong because there's always consistency. So if they're going to get rid of Klopp, or Klopp wants to quit, as proved to be the case, they'll make sure they hire somebody that's stylistically the same, that is going to be a fit. And even if that manager doesn't want every single player, they'll understand the profiles and they'll use them. The problem is when you run into situations where all your managers are completely different, back 4 to a back 3, one kind of personality, a different kind of personality, because then you might have consistency of recruitment, but it doesn't mean much if you don't have consistency of style on the field. So actually, for me, this is a better hire because there is that continuity between Rosinia and the group, but also the new manager and Maresca in terms of style. And then if you compare Maresca to Pochettino, or Potter to Pochettino, or Tuchel to Potter, it wasn't the same. And I think the other thing is that he knows a few of the players already, like Liam Delap, Andre Santos, Mike Penders when he comes back, Mamadou Sarr, Kendry Paez. He's worked with a young squad at Strasbourg. And maybe the other thing that's just worth noting is that if you only look at recruitment, the project is further back than other aspects. So there's two parts of this project that are a little bit more formative still than other areas. For example, their leadership team, very well developed now. They've got 5 different sporting directors led by Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley, their executive team, their brand. But the two bits that are a little bit behind that 4 or so years of Todd Boehly and Clearlake are the recruitment and the stadium. And it might seem weird to say the recruitment is behind because they've spent a lot of money, but in stadium number 1, in the window number 1, it was like Todd Boehly, there wasn't an exec team. So obviously they were signing players like Aubameyang and Sterling. And in hindsight, they don't match the recruitment model now. And then when they spent all that money, it was very much youth-led strategy. So now only really are they heading into phase 3, you could argue, if we call the Boehly one phase 1, where they've got to sign less. They've got to raise the average age up, not down. And they've got to actually get on-field potential out of the players that they've got. So the sign of a good Chelsea project now will actually be if Liam Rosinia doesn't get that many new names, and if the names he's got stay for 5 to 7 years, and therefore the average age of the squad rises and the selection stays consistent. So in a weird way, it's probably easier to be Chelsea head coach now because you're not going on a big shop with no ingredients. You've got the ingredients, but the manager's now got to get the best out of them. Otherwise, the project will move backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah, we also have the issue with the sort of buy to sell scenario with the UEFA restrictions as well, which I believe we're going into the summer window again for a second season, which means we're probably going to be very limited or maybe slow in the market. A lot of people have asked 2 real quick things because I know you're probably going to need to leave as well soon. One of them is the front of shirts once again. I really don't understand how and why we're not really, as Chelsea, sorted that out from a revenue standpoint. You know, you'd think we'd want to get someone, you know, tied in, you know, just purely because of the revenue element, 50, 60 million, whatever it is. What's going on with that? I'm not expecting you to fully know the answer, but I know you tend to give really good reasons to why maybe Chelsea have not done it yet. But do you know anything we don't know in regards to the
I mean, the short answer is that when they were first looking, it was for a 1-year deal to get back into the Champions League and then do something long-term. Then they were looking for long-term, but the right fit, the right brand, the right price. So short answer is they've been picky. It is still a bit of a surprise that we're over midway through the season and there isn't something below the gold badge. One reason why they've stuck to their guns is because they feel like the Club World Cup money has helped them on the books, so they don't need to do it financially in the same way that perhaps they would have done if they didn't bring in, give or take, £120 million by playing in and winning the Club World Cup. So that's bought them a little bit of time. Some sources I speak to, although how credible it is remains to be seen, but some people think they're waiting to see how the Paramount Plus potential acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery plays out, because I believe you've got Netflix with a bid accepted and Paramount are trying to hijack that. And obviously the knock-on effect of this is if Paramount Plus buy Warner Brothers Discovery, or whatever its full name is, then they'll inherit the parent company of TNT, who are a Premier League rights holder. So then exactly the same deal they had with Paramount, or who knows, it might be an affiliate of Paramount, could potentially be retabled, because Paramount wanted to do that. Chelsea wanted to do that. It was all done. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. We'd be celebrating Paramount, which everyone, I think, would have been on board with. It's immersive, it's consumer friendly, it would have looked good on the shirt, it ticked every single box. And that deal was there and done and at a good number, but obviously it wouldn't have got Premier League approval. So if, come the end of the season, Paramount won that race, is that deal back on the table? You never know.
Mm.
That's a theory by some industry sources I speak to, although it's not really stood up by anyone at Chelsea yet. They're talking to airlines as well. So it sounds like they're just waiting for the right brand at the right price, and they're not coming down on price. And maybe now they feel it doesn't make much difference as to whether they do it now or whether they do it in the summer, because you're probably giving, if you take someone on mid-season, you're likely giving them a concession and saying, come on board for the second half of the season and start a long-term deal. And if you sign a long-term deal, you can basically have the end of the season or a handful of games anyway. So I think these are the main considerations. And obviously, when they finally do it, the belief within Chelsea is it will be worth the wait, both in terms of brand and also in terms of the finances involved. But we'll have to wait and see.
Can we say the same thing about the stadium scenario as well? Because that's another area, again, where we seem to just be hearing limited anything, to be quite honest here, with regards to what's going on with the stadium. Is there anything new that we should know about?
Yeah, I mean, with the stadium, I think, first of all, it's normal. It's not like a sponsorship deal or a transfer. Stadiums take years. So it's behind because it kind of moved from a Todd Boehly-led pitch when they took over the club, because Roman Abramovich made it clear that you had to provide stadium plans, at least an approach to it. That was part of the selection process. And Janet Marie Smith, the architect who did the Dodger renovation, and board member Jonathan Goldstein at Chelsea, who's more on the Boehly side, were leading those formative plans. And now Jason Gannon has come in, and he's the main point of contact. I'm told that Goldstein is still involved in some capacity because Kane International, Boehly and Goldstein's other group, is a property developer. So it'd be a little bit silly not to involve Kane International contacts and Danny Finkelstein because he's got government relations. So it's a collaborative process. But now they're talking to Populous and other potential designers and trying to formulate a plan. And because it's not Tottenham with a stadium right next to White Hart Lane and Man United with land right behind the Stretford end, there's all manner of complicated considerations. So that's one reason it's taking time. Second is that I think they're waiting to see if they can muscle in on Earl's Court, which as the days go by is perhaps looking less and less likely. But until that other development project at Earl's Court is funded, they're keeping that door somewhat ajar. And there doesn't seem to be much dispute, by the way. If the Chelsea pitch holders say yes, you can go to Earl's Court. I think Clearlake and Todd Boehly would like to go to Earl's Court. But if Earl's Court is pursued and then eventually they run into a dead end, again, they have to take a step back and start looking at other options. They've got the Stowe land. They could knock down Stamford Bridge, maybe use the Stowe land with a clever design. Then they need a new home. Could be Wembley or Twickenham or whatever. So that's difficult. And again, it's not the same as Tottenham or Man United or Newcastle, who can maybe get their plans off the ground a little bit quicker. Stand by Stand feels like, let's just get on with it. But believe it or not, it's more expensive and it's more time consuming because you're constantly having to renovate, maybe tweaking things over 10, 15, 20 years, and you don't get the perfect stadium at the end of it. So that's kind of why they have been somewhat leaning against stand by stand renovation. So there's no perfect choice. The door's still open for Earl's Court, but it might not be for much longer. And then, of course, the other thing is that Todd Boehly and others at the club have got slightly different ideas about what it should look like and what kind of purpose it should serve. So this is why Boehly said publicly he either needs to get on the same page with the other owners or there might be a natural parting of ways. At the heart of it is Clearlake are Blueco, are football, and naturally they want a world-class stadium. But if you look at Boehly's portfolio, he's more inclined to go down a route of multi-sports. So they'll have to work out what it's going to look like. Are they going to make a play for, like the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, NFL? Could the Dodgers even play there as well? So my read is basically that we're not going to get anything imminent on the stadium, but in the bigger picture, not just for the stadium, for everything, keep an eye on something more tangible in all areas of the brand and the football club away from the actual playing. Keep an eye on summer 2027. Because in 2027, that's where Boehly's chairmanship ends. And it's in cycles, you may remember, of 5 years. So between 2027 and 2032, it's up to Clearlake to pick the next chair. And I think in Bowley's mind, at least speaking to sources, I can't speak to the bigger picture, but in Bowley's mind, I think by summer 2027, he wants to understand in all areas of the business, are we on the same page? Have we got tangible stadium plans with a roadmap? Is the football team succeeding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And I think the Bowley side are using that summer 2027 to hope that every aspect of the project on and off the field, including the stadium, has a bit more clarity. So that feels to me like a very fair juncture 5 years in to judge everything. And certainly from people I speak to on the Bowley side, I think they'd be somewhat disappointed if by that juncture at the latest, there's not more concrete clarity on the stadium and some of the other areas that we've discussed.
Yeah, no, I fully appreciate.
And that's not far away. Like really, if you think there's a lot to try and not confirm, but there's a lot to try and get through within that time. So it's really not far. So
yeah.
Me, I'm a bit concerned about that.
It'd be interesting. Lots and lots and lots. I know Ben's got a shoot probably now as well. My last final
I got
quick
a train,
question.
unfortunately, to Edinburgh.
There you go. So let's let him go. But one real quick answer on this one. Will Chelsea do anything in the January transfer window? Do you expect them to do anything?
Yeah, January's been billed as quite quiet. It's been about outgoings. Obviously, we just saw Leo Castledine go to Middlesbrough, as I broke yesterday, 4.5-year contract and a fee in excess of 1 million. Some even say it's a bit close to 2 million. I think Raheem Sterling and Axel Disasi with Roma and with Lyon. We've heard some reports in the last 24, 48 hours that Radu Dragosin might be going to Roma. That's not my understanding, but Disasi is on that list. And Sterling wants a permanent move, not a loan. So that's just worth bearing in mind. West Ham made an approach, but he won't do a loan with an option if they stay up. He wants a permanent move. Incoming-wise, maybe some young players in the long run. I know they're building towards the summer. You can never say never with Chelsea for January simply because they can be opportunistic. But I think on their 2026 bucket list is a central midfielder. Don't be surprised if they enter the race for Elliot Anderson along with Manchester City and Manchester United. And then Giovanni Quenda's arriving. And at the moment, anyway, as far as I'm told, he's billed more as a left winger than a left back or a left wing back. But let's kind of wait and see whether or not Liam Rosinia has different ideas. So the left field's quite covered. I think if Esteval is, as he wants to, developing as a 10, then if Pedro Neto is on the right, they might consider another one. Tyreek George is expected to depart at some point in 2026. And as you alluded to, the new manager's going to have to make a call on the likes of Garnacho and Gittins and try and get the best out of them. They got plenty of options in these areas, and all these players are versatile. But Liam Rosinia will cast fresh eyes. I found it really interesting today that he refused to specifically say, is Reece a midfielder? Is he a left back? Is he a right back, I should say? Of course, he can and did under Maresca even play on the left-hand side as well. But how James is utilised feels important, because if he's put back to a right back and given freedom to bomb forwards, then there's even more logic to go and find another central midfielder. And then last up, as the chat alluded to, maybe some kind of defender coming in as well. I'm not aware yet that Chelsea are going to enter the race for Mark Guéhi, by the way. I'm hearing more Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Bayern, Inter, Real Madrid, and some say Barcelona, but I'm told they've ruled Guéhi out. But yeah, I think there's maybe room for another centre-back as well. But let's see how Josh Anchimpong develops, and he's capable of playing in more than one position. And obviously some of the intel that we had about who might come in, who might be favoured, it could change, because even though Liam Rosinia's system is not too dissimilar to Enzo Maresca, he's probably going to need between now and the summer to work out who he favours, who he doesn't favour. Everyone assumes Andre Santos is going to benefit, and that may well be true. I'm not disputing that, but he hasn't looked at a fit Lavia. We haven't really seen fit Lavia at all. He hasn't seen the other midfielders. So there's a lot of unanswered questions about the existing squad. Because Liam Rosinia will be quite fair to everyone and give them time. And that's why I think a quiet January of incomings for senior squad level wouldn't be a bad thing. because then you're complicating it even further. The manager probably needs the next 6 months to really work out who his best 11 is, and that will inform the summer business as well. So never say never with Chelsea. Probably get off this live and they'll have signed a box office senior player because they've done that in the past. But we were certainly led to believe when Maresca was still
Probably an
there
18-year-old.
heading into January that it would be a relatively quiet month.
More like an 18-year-old, Ben, most probably with Chelsea. But anyway, I'll let you go, mate. I want to say thank you again for always coming on here and sharing your knowledge. As always, I appreciate you doing that as well. And we look to hopefully have you back on very soon, if possible.
Look forward to it, guys. Keep up the good work. Happy New Year to everyone. All the best.
Thank you. Cheers,
Thank
Ben.
you, mate. Take care.
Cheers.
See you
Bye.
later. Thank you. Bye-bye. There you go, man. Ben Jacobs in the building, now exited. I think he spoke a lot. He speaks a lot. I mean, a lot of sense anyway, doesn't he? On a lot of things. And, you know, he spoke about Rosinha and Maresca. He spoke about the front of shirt sponsor, which I thought was the most interesting thing, Matt, in all of this. With Paramount and
Seven thing as well was interesting. But yeah, the Paramount thing, Matt, I think that's very interesting, to be honest. I mean, it was obviously something that we were quite intrigued with to start with. But the fact that there might be noise of it because obviously what's going on in the background with Warner Brothers and things like that, it's just quite interesting to hopefully see. Well, we're obviously all hoping that there's a long-term plan, that's maybe what they're planning. But I'm concerned about this summer 2027 thing though, where there's like a review, let's say, of what's going on. And where my concerns are is that there is so much to try and get confirmed within that time. Look, we're in 2026 now. It's a year and a half away, and with how quickly they're reacting to things, it's probably within that time we might see some managerial change again. There's a lot to get confirmed before I think Bowley and his part of the party are going to have any confidence. So there could be a change. I think there could be a change in hand there. Whether it's Clearlake buying them out, I don't know. But yeah.
Sure. Big up everyone that did turn up, and we had nearly 150 people in here for this one. So thank you guys for all being here and joining us for that, Ben Jacobs. We are still going to continue. We've got the preview for tomorrow. We're going to do a predicted team lineup. We're going to talk a little bit about Liam Rosinha as well. Make sure you're following us, guys. If you're not following, please follow. Hit the notification button, the bell. We're going to have a lot more of these sort of lives coming up for you guys as well. And lots to talk about on the Chelsea front of things. It was one of the things that I would say about Rosinha from the comments from Ben, Matt, was that he spoke highly of him in terms of the way that he perceived himself, put himself across. Right?
I think like a presence being in the room, and it could even be like small things like that, where kind of that no nonsense. And it was very interesting for Ben to kind of really wax lyrical about him. And look, obviously he wasn't saying about him being very much like it was a Mourinho, but I think if it was a bigger manager saying those sort of things and we weren't in the predicament we were, would we be kind of perceiving what Liam's saying in a different light? And I think that's what Ben was trying to say, was that, look, we've been really burnt by so many managers that these sort of language are being used is kind of hot air. But maybe if he can back up his words, I think, fair play to Liam for coming in like that, because his chest is out, really. He's really going for it. And, it's not like, I'm coming in, I've got to see what the players are and I've got to figure out from there. But, you've got to talk, you've got to walk the walk as well. And it's just, I'm hoping that he can, for us, really, because I think we all deserve to have this sort of run, to be honest. We're too hard. It's too hard for us.
If that's the case, the media won't be asking silly questions every week. No, because he will give them a straight answer. He does look very, I'd say, full of himself, but he backs himself is the word I use right now. He seems to be backing himself quite well in terms of the answer questions being asked. He broke a joke earlier in the press conference where he was just like, "Yeah, you're a journalist," like, because of the question this person asked, and they all just started laughing. And then he was like, "Nah, I'm only joking." And it was just like, you know what I mean? He's kind of like not playing, but like trying to, what's the word? He's trying to just, slowly bed himself in, get on the side with the media. He knows how they're going to be when things start going south and we start losing games. So it's about getting his vision across, his point across on how he looks. Good old English banter. Do you know what I mean? But Con, you've got the link, mate. So I don't know why you're talking to me in the chat when you could literally be here with me and Matt.
Each other. It's just like, look, if you're going to do it off stage, guys. Come on.
He's literally got the link, mate, and he's like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's this? Been here the whole time to support my lover. Do you know what I mean? Like, he did. I know he done all the retweeting as well earlier. So big up to Con for sharing it out.
The stadium thing, though, Jem, from what I got from Ben, is that it's just nothing's happening. And I get what, obviously, you know, it does take time, but I think this is why, unfortunately, the situation we're in with how the takeover happened, that they had to kind of broker some sort of a vision. But something just doesn't feel right that all of a sudden it seems like Clear Lake's kind of their position on things is very much more just asset management and trying to get the younger model in, and that's it. Something just isn't. There's just no confidence from that side at all. And I felt Ben was explaining that, but you know, and saying about longevity and things like that, but it just, to me, didn't feel like it was going anywhere, to be honest.
Sorry, mate. The chat gets a bit fruity when Con comes in. It does my name. Jim, do you think back 3 or back 4? Well, it was weird because some people were saying in his first training sessions that he was talking about a back 3. You could see him putting fingers up or 3, and that could mean nothing. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to have a little play around. I think he's going to try and use this Charlton game to work out quickly what system he wants to go with. I think the back 4 is what I think he's going to do personally. I think it's going to be a strict 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 if you want to look at it like that. I could see a midfield 3 coming in comfortably with Santos and Caicedo and Enzo. I think Palmer, we might need to start getting used to see him more on the right. I think Esteval might start on the left as well. You know, there's a lot of things that I think he's going to test and whatever else. And this is why when we were talking to Ben, and I asked him about, like I said, about the whole Garnacho and Gittins thing, because it's like going back to the Maresca scenario, he seems to think that, like, and I kind of hear it and it makes sense. He seems to think that, like, obviously the managers kind of pick who they want and they do have a say in what they, you know, in who comes in and whatever. But then, you know, from the outside looking in as a fan, when you're seeing £90 million worth of wingers on the bench and you're using Pedro Neto and Esteval, who are naturally right wingers playing their position, you would think to yourself that maybe he didn't want them. Maybe he just, you know what I mean? He was kind of being forced to get him into the squad. That's what it looks like, you know, is what I would say. You know?
In the last 2 games at all, you know, they've not even got any minutes. No, I know, was it maybe Gittins came on at one point, but no, actually, I don't think either of them did. And, you know, the fact, I think, like you were saying about Pedro being so poor and then still not getting replaced. I think both of those players, I still believe that Gittins is going to be the one to go on loan. I think it was the Garnacho gamble. Clearly, they thought they were going to get something out of him. I think he's doing the same as what he's done at United, to be fair. So, but it was interesting what they said about Quenda as well, being, you know, that they see him more as left wing. So that's why I do believe that then Gittins, I do think that he is going to go on loan somewhere. So, Andrew saying it's exclusive on Kings. What's that?
What's that?
I'm just saying there's an exclusive on Kings of the Bridge. You said an exclusive. Oh, Louis, his album's coming soon. His dad, Butter Boys. That's probably why.
Louis' album?
Yeah, with his dad.
He has an album?
Apparently so.
Interesting. Interesting. Just looking at... Go on, mate.
Sorry, I saw your face about centre mids when he was talking about that. And it was interesting how... I mean, I can't see how we can spend, you know, Elliot Anderson, some of that. It's going to be 100 million plus.
Yeah, it seems like it's very weird that they're talking about midfielders again, isn't it? Like, it's such a, out of all the areas, when you look at, and this is why I'm starting to feel, is Lavia the one they're looking past now, maybe, and they're just going, look,
I think they've given up.
Yeah, and they're going, we need to get another midfielder because the one that we spent X amount of money on is not, you know, he's not it, or he's not available, shall we say. He is it, but he's not available, you know. So have they looked at it because of that? Maybe. I don't know.
As well, and I know we don't want to hear this, Jem, but maybe they're future-proofing for the inevitable exit of maybe Enzo going to Real Madrid at some point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's well. The problem from now to the end of the season is seeing who Rosenior trusts, who he plays, who he looks to, anything can happen from now to the summer, right? That's the way I see it. If you start seeing, I don't know, Enzo not playing as much football anymore, and it's like Palmer, Santos, Caicedo, yeah, I don't see it personally. I generally don't see that happening, but maybe that's part and parcel of the looking in the midfield. Not just that, Lavia, if he's out as well, who is out as well. They're now looking at potentially adding another sort of deep line playmaker that can play along with the inexperience. I don't know, man. There's so many factors to it, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what we do. He mentioned Quenda being a left winger as well, which was also very interesting. Have you seen Shields signing all his kinetic buddies to the club? Huh? Cal? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you say so, mate. How are you? How are you, Cal? Big up. Garnacho was a mad one. Don't understand. Well, we all said this, didn't we? So that's not really a shock, is it? Do you know what I mean? We need Ndiaye and Igor Thiago to be seriously dangerous again. Players that are inexperienced and doing well at the lower level, people are now saying are the ones we need to bring in.
My theory behind this is that, look, don't get me wrong, they're good players, but my problem is it's even with maybe Semenyo as well, is that they play well at these lower clubs because, let's be honest, the opposition they're playing against feel that they've got a chance to beat those teams as well. So when they come to the teams like a Chelsea, where, let's be honest, 75, 80% of the games you're playing against the low block, they then don't understand what's going on, and then they kind of become a bit unstuck with what to do. And maybe it is it's what we're having to look into now, is those sort of players.
Yeah. Let's talk about the game tomorrow. Obviously, something that we want to get into before we tie up this live, and we want to look at what sort of lineup can we expect tomorrow from Rosenior's first managerial game against Charlton away. Right? Are we away? Are we at home? I don't even know.
Yeah, we're
Benji,
away.
what are you saying, bro? Good to see you, man. Hope you're good.
Benji.
Big up, Benji. Joey, what are you saying, man? Where have you been? I've been here, mate. I've been here for a while. Joey's another one that used to support GNA TV for a long time. We just had Ben Jacobs on, bro. We literally just had Ben J on.
Know what Ben Jacobs was drinking, and where was he? Oh,
he was drinking wine, wasn't he? Or am I missing something?
It was like he was outside some palace. It was funny. I was going to ask him, but we've taken a question.
Yeah, usually if you've got him longer, you can have them sort of like, oh shit, I didn't even send that. Send it to Con twice. Sorry, Con, mate. Send it to Benji. Yeah, he was. It looked like he was having a drink, innit? Then just chilling in his time. Benji's now joined us as well. Sipping on that wine. Are you seriously looking at anyone in January? Well, he seems to think, Chelsea are unpredictable. They may be. He said keep an eye out, but I don't think so, no. I don't think we're going to be signing anyone anytime soon. Before we go into this, Benji, how are you, mate? You're muted. You are muted, mate. Hey, come on, Joey. Let's go, bro. Good to see you, man. I can't hear now. No, you can't hear nothing. Then come out and come back in, bro. Come out and come back in. If you can't hear anything. Come out and come back. Oh, nearly banned him. Let me just quickly switch him across, guys. There we go. There we go. Let's get him in now. Can you hear now, Benji?
He's muted still.
Muted, Benji, man. You need to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, brother, and then you can talk. Oh, Benji. This is why this is the problem with Benji, right? He is exactly like Badia Shil. They give it all a big talk. They come up, yeah, and then as soon as they come up, they flop. You know what I mean? Joey Jem lives in Dubai now. I do, but I'm coming back for a bit. No, not good today, it seems. Sorry, fellas. Well, what are you on? Just press the mute button. That's all you got to do, brother. There you go. Hello. No, you just done it. Why did you put it back on? Fuck's sake. He literally unmuted himself and then muted himself. What is he doing?
Con was coming on as well.
Who?
Con.
Con's got the link. I don't even know if he's still here. I told him the link's with him to come up. I don't know what Con's doing. Con, Con's just Con, man, isn't it? Con is just Con boy. Chalobah cost us 12 points this season. Yeah. Well, I mean, are we really going to talk about our defenders now? Let's be serious. Chalobah's played the most games, that's for sure. Benmore, Benji Shield. That's what I'm saying. What do you think he's going to do tomorrow, anyway? You come back to England, Jim? I am indeed, potentially. I might be back at the end of the month for a month or so. Or two.
Are you going to try and watch any games at all, mate, when you're here?
I might do. I'm still here, just going to watch today, just how I like it. He's such a... He's watching me. He's watching us, Matt. For fuck's sake, this guy.
I feel violated because he's probably just watching you. I'm just noise in the background.
Oh, mate, you just gave me a stitch. Yeah, I'm coming back for, well, I don't know how long. February is a busy month for me. Everyone that I'm close to in my family has their birthdays. Mrs., Mum, best mates that I grew up with, this one, that one. Plus, I get to see my other mates. Yeah, I think it's a good time just for a period. I don't want to because it's horrible there, but after that, then I'm just going to try and stay there.
Stream of you and Con, that'd be good.
Huh?
A stream of you and Con out again, but do it on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe you as well, Matt. I mean, Pies messaged me yesterday. He said, "Oh, I'm coming to Dubai." I said, "When?" He went, "On the 24th." I went, "Yeah, I'm leaving." He went, "You're a fraud. Stay." He said, "Stay for at least a day or two." And I was like, so Pies is coming. Pies could have come with Con to Dubai. Do you know what I mean? Like, these guys don't even talk to each other, and they're co-hosts. You know what I mean, Matt? Shocking co-hosts. Shocking co-hosts. Con's birthday is in Feb as well. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. That means there's going to be parties. I thought you had to stay there for a certain amount. Yeah, I have. That's the point. I've been here for a period, and I need to come back. I've got some personal stuff at home, which that's come up. So I need to go and sort it out before I can actually, Jim joining the protest if they last. I won't be here for the protest. The protest is on the 17th. I won't be back till the last week of Jan, I reckon.
I think
maybe
what's saying though is if there was momentum and there was further ones.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I've been to them before. I've been to them before. I was at the Ricks one when no one bothered going, and it was like 50 of us. I was one of the Chelsea fans standing there saying, "No, Ricks." Was in Thailand for a month. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I forgot about that as well. Yeah, I've kind of been traveling, and I can't complain. Really can't complain. Really wish Asuga was available for tomorrow. All right, let's get into this, Matt. What are we doing with lineup? Should we go with Jorgensen? Because I think it's going to be for this one. Or do you think it's going to be Sanchez?
Jorgensen.
Yeah, Jorgensen start. Who's your back four? If it is a back four, it might be a back three.
I'd say Hato.
Yeah, I think Hato's got. Do you know what? I like Hato. I don't care what anyone says. I like Hato, man. I don't know how people don't like Hato. I think he's actually decent.
He's quite pacey as well. You know,
how many times did he recover and get back and clear the ball and stuff? Do you know what I mean? Right,
centre back pairing. I'm gonna Acheampong. I'm gonna put in at some point. I don't know whether he's right back or he's gonna be centre back. But I'll put Acheampong and Fofana. I think you'll want to see Fofana play. That might be fun.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting too.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of players he's not really seen a tremendous amount and trying to get him play, but I'm thinking, does Fofana need to get some sort of minutes? And then Gusto, I would put right. Oh no, yeah, I put Gusto there. I think Reece needs to rest.
Him saying he's going to Australia for 2 months in March. Yeah. Who you putting right back? Gusto.
Yeah. I'm sure the centre back, you're probably going to change the centre back pairing.
Yeah, I mean, let's do Matt's first. I'll do mine after. Go on.
Santos.
You think Santos is going to play? Okay. Yep.
This is why I think he was said about Asuga. Yeah, Dreamer. This way we would want Asuga to play.
Do you not feel like he's going to play quite a solid team just because we've got Arsenal next, and you probably want them to be drilled in the system? So you think he might go quite strong?
That's probably very true. So what are you saying then? It would be Caicedo, then Enzo as well. You're going to say both of them are going to be. Let's see. Right, put Caicedo and then put
Facundo.
God, I can't bear that. I would not want to see him.
Who else? Who got?
I put Enzo there. It's going to be very, very strong team, but you're probably right. Facundo might play. Right, I would like to bloody see Esteval be playing. If he's not playing tomorrow, I don't know what's going wrong.
Yeah.
Gittins.
Yeah.
And then and then I would say Delap up top. Right.
Yep.
So I've got a Delap up top.
Yeah, all right, mate. No worries, it's fine. I think it's going to be a little bit different to him. I don't think that for me is a bit too strong in terms of the lineup. You know, I think it'll be a little bit different at the back. I think Hato will play. I think Josh was actually going to play right back in this game. I think Fofana will be tossing. Actually, who played the last? Who was our two centre backs last time round? I'm brain dead. Tosin and Chalobah, right? It was Tosin and Chalobah, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, so you put Achimpong on the right. Yeah, that's.
And then I think it's probably going to be. I don't even like putting this guy on, but I think it's going to be something like that. Badiashile, Fofana, Achimpong, Hato, and then I think Santos will play. I think either Enzo or Caicedo will play.
Not both.
Not both, I don't think. And then I think you're going to see Palmer in the 10 this time round with Esteval on the right, Gittins on the left, and I'm going to go with João Pedro up front.
Okay. Strong team. I mean, that team should be absolutely obliterating Charlton because they've struggled this season.
Because Tosin and Chalobah played last game, so I can see Fofana playing with Badiashile to start with. I see Josh playing right back to give Gusto and James a breather. I don't think he needs to see them really, but I think they'll come on at some point. I think Cucurella will be rested. I think Hato could start. It could be Garnacho or Gittins, really. I'm more favourable. That's the other thing. I actually think it's going to be Garnacho over Gittins with that attack. I think it's probably going to be Garnacho. Garnacho, Palmer, Esteval, João Pedro is the 4 I've gone with. If he plays a 4. But let's say he don't play a 4, Matt, and he decides to go to a what was it? He has 3-4. What was it?
3-4, 3-4-2.
3-4. 3-4-3, should we say?
Okay, yeah. Let's do that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because then they'll be wing back, won't they? So that's fine.
Yeah. So if he was doing a 3-4-3 for this game, who would be your back three? 3-4-2-1. I don't think they've got 3-4-2-1. 1 second. They've got 3-2-4-1, which is stupid. 3-2-3-4-2-1. 3-2-4. I mean, to be fair, that's how we're probably going to look going forward.
Yeah, let's just do that. That's fine. Right, you're saying your 3 centre backs. I think where Hato is, I know it's going to be annoying to say it's Badiashile. I just don't.
Badiashile.
Yeah. Oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Then it'd be Fofana and Chalobah, won't it, I suppose? So I'm just thinking because of Badiashile on the left.
Okay.
And then your midfield, I'm trying to think that'd be attack. So your wing backs. Are we doing it for this game? If you did it for this game, right? So I assume then, would you see Achimpong going up and down? I'd maybe put Hato on the left, obviously, but the right, maybe that's where you put Gusto then.
You think Gusto will play?
Yeah, and then if that's the case, if we're doing it for tomorrow, then I'd maybe put.
Caicedo, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that would be right. Something like that. It's just a centre back pairing, so I just don't know. Because obviously we've not really played like a.
It would probably work better in a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of do that. It'd be saying like that, maybe. Is what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Um,
See Pedro being on right wing back.
Jim, you can drag players if you use freeform. How do I use freeform? Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. I didn't even know that. Thank you. So, like, we could do. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I can just drag them around. So, like, 3-4. So, what was it? A 3-4-2-1. People were saying.
Yeah,
So, like, it would. So, it could be something like that, with these two dropping back, your wing backs up high. 3-4-2-1. Are you sure?
Yeah, that was used for 21 games last year.
Something like that, in shape. Do you know what I mean? With Palmer on the right, Esteval on the left. Maybe Esteval is Gittins or Esteval is there, and Palmer is
a partnership on that left with Hatter, because we've just not seen enough of Hatter in the game.
Nacho, and then you got, I don't know. Yeah, it could be saying like that. Either way, it could be anything in it. Let's be serious. It really could be. It really could be anything. Yeah. What are we saying about predictions? We have to win this, Matt, right? Surely.
It's a must. Yeah, I mean, my conspiracy theory is the reason why they didn't bring him in to start the last game is so they knew that he could have an easy fixture against Charlton and have that good feel vibe around it. So, yes, must win. If we don't win, it's catastrophic.
It's absolutely catastrophic. Yeah.
So, I'd say anything like a 3-1. Well, I'd be disappointed if it's like a 1-0 or 2-0. Like I really would. Like we need to.
Well, Arsenal did have a good game against Liverpool, did they, yesterday? And they drew. Do you know what I mean? So,
but it's Liverpool.
Yes, 10 minutes. We don't, mate. We're going. We're going in a minute. I think there's not much more really to clang on to until later on. Well, until tomorrow or Sunday. Need a big win. We need something like 3-0. Yeah, I want to like 3-4, 5-0. Don't get me wrong. I think we can do that. We don't want extra time, that's for sure, DJ SFJ. We do not want extra time. But whatever we put out as the team, if there's one thing for sure, it should be good enough to win the game.
Yeah,
just be good to win the game, you know. So
until we start seeing Rosenior playing and having his squad and what he's doing, it's difficult to try and predict what he's going to do. So I think it's quite interesting to be kind of quite open-minded tomorrow of what formations, what players are going to play. So yeah, I think it'll be exciting, and hopefully we can actually just get some bloody goals and just actually win and have that winning feeling, mate.
Listen, we'll be obviously back properly with the Arsenal game midweek. We've got the game tomorrow. We'll see if we can get a preview in around it. Probably not after because it's quite a late game tomorrow, right? 8 o'clock, I think it is, isn't it?
What time is it?
Is it 8 o'clock UK time tomorrow, the game?
UK, so is that?
Yeah, so I'll probably watch it, but I probably won't.
Well, I might be in the Discord, guys, at halftime. So if I'm in the Discord, please join. Not sure if Con's doing any of his spaces at all. He might be doing anything at halftime, but come and join the Discord at halftime, even prior if you want to for the lineups, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Make sure you watch back the live as well with Ben Jacobs, guys. It was a really good live. Tune into that as well. We've nearly done an hour and 15 minutes. Make sure you hit the likes. Give us your score predictions below. And like we said, we'll be around tomorrow. I might be on the space with Con. I'm going to talk to him. Might be on the space for an hour before the game. So keep an eye out for that. The Discord, if you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord because we're talking over there all the time and that's forever growing as well. Half time in the Discord, full time maybe in the Discord as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, lots and lots to get into. But as it's Friday night, this is the right time for you guys to go and enjoy yourself and enjoy your evenings until then. And for me at 10 o'clock here to go and chill. So big up every single one of you as always. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back soon. Up the fucking Chels. And yeah, let's see what Rossini's got for us, right? Let's see.